So The Look of Silence, which is Joshua Oppenheimer's not sequel but companion piece to The Act of Killing, which is, one of the most overwhelming and distressing and strange movies of sort of living memory, I think, pretty much. So this is a companion piece. Once again, it's concerned with Indonesia and the massacres in 1965, 1966. In Act of Killing, what Joshua Oppenheimer did was he spoke to the people involved in the death squads and got them to reenact their appalling actions in a way which bizarrely sort of got towards some awful truth of unpicking the lie which now surrounds those actions. In this particular case, this is a companion piece because what we have is an ophthalmologist called Adi, whose brother Ramli was one of the victims of those terrible events, who we see watching footage which Oppenheimer took between 2003 and 2005 of the members of these death squads, and then going door to door, interviewing people, including interviewing people involved in the slaughter, and sometimes doing eye tests on them whilst asking them about their memories of those events. And once again, what Oppenheimer has managed to do is this is much more sort of structurally formal than Act of Killing. Certainly it's, I know some people found Act of Killing, they were troubled by the way in which it worked structurally. They felt that somehow you couldn't be that inventive, that surreal with something which was a documentary about appalling events. But actually, I think that Act of Killing was very profound on an existential level. This is much more personal to some extent. It is every bit as distressing and as dangerous and as urgent as Act of Killing, although I think it should be said that I think in order to really understand The Look of Silence, you do need to have seen Act of Killing, and I would suggest that anybody sees Act of Killing anyway, although you're going to need to give yourself some space, some headspace afterwards, because it's not a film you walk away from easily. Extraordinary encounters between Adi and people who just committed unbelievable acts, now elderly, and somehow still unable to face up to or accept any responsibility for what happened. And this incredibly quiet, really composed and contained young man somehow managing to ask them questions which get beneath the facade of silence, because the film itself is about, as the title says, the look of silence. It's also worth pointing out that as a piece of filmmaking, it's extraordinarily well structured, not least in its sound design, which is designed to emphasize the silence surrounding these events, and does so quite extraordinarily. I think Joshua Oppenheimer is a major talent. I think The Look of Silence is a very powerful and very disturbing and honourable film. And as before, as I said with the Act of Killing, it's not a film that you're going to want to pop in and see and then come out. It is a film that will stay with you for some time afterwards, and I would book yourself if you go and see it, some time afterwards to think about it and discuss it, because it really is very, very powerful.